and welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache Snow. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm really happy about this. I have my good friend Paulette Sanderlin in the studio today.
Oh, hello.
She happens to be visiting from Chicago, so I was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to record her. So I'm not sure where you're listening from, but if you head on over to YouTube, you'll actually see the video of us talking together. So head on over there, nachesnow.com/YouTube. Also, remember to subscribe to the podcast. You could do that with the Apple app. You could do that with Stitcher. I also really like this app called Cast. So it's C as in cat, ASTS. It's really amazing. But if you could subscribe to the podcast and share it with others, I'd really, really appreciate it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I've learned something too, so I don't know any of those apps.
That's why I subscribed for her.
Yeah, she did.
She gets notifications all the time.
All the time.
But okay, I'm just gonna jump right into it today. And so, Paulette, let's just start from the beginning. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your background?
Well, I am born and raised in Chicago. I went to school from the get-go for physical therapy. I am a physical therapist. I'm a physical therapist assistant. I went to school to be a physical therapist, but things happened. I went to a couple different schools, and I came back to Chicago, and I was going to pursue it. I ended up meeting my husband and spent a lot of time with him and got on academic probation. And so my parents said they weren't going to pay for my education anymore because obviously the man was more important than my education. So once I established a relationship with my husband, I then went back to school, paid for myself, and I went to the assistant program, got right in right away, and then graduated and started my career. So even though I was not, it took me a while to get there, I was always focused on, I knew what I wanted to do from the get-go. So got married, got my degree, now I'm a mother, full-time worker, all the way around, motherhood, job-wise, wife, everything. So
before we even get into motherhood, because she's a mother of two, 3 and 6, right?
Yes, for another month.
Okay. How did you know that physical therapy was for you?
Tell you the truth, it's so funny. There was a movie that I watched with Harrison Ford, and now it has just slipped my mind the name of that movie. Harrison Ford was like this big stockbroker or something, made all this money, and then he was cheating on his wife, a whole bunch of women. His wife was cheating on him. They had one child. He just didn't have any, even though he had all this money, he just didn't have a quality of life. He wasn't happy.
Right.
So, I have to look it up now. It's just driving me crazy, name of it. So anyway, he goes out and gets a pack of cigarettes and goes into his little convenience store down the street from his penthouse condo, whatever, apartment. So he gets shot. And then he almost dies. Well, he didn't die. He went to rehab, and his physical therapist saved his life, and more than just moving around, walking, his family life, his well-being of zen, of just being happy with life, even though he couldn't. Regarding Henry is the name of the
I remember that. That's an oldie.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I was like, wow. The physical therapist has so much of an impact in this man's life that I was like, God, I want to do that. I want to impact somebody's life that much. I thought about nursing, but it's too much. I didn't really want to deal with medications and the rigmarole. It's just nurses are so stressed. Physical therapy, when people want to move or want to go on with their life, usually the hard complications are usually over, and you just want to go on and live life. And I have to be part of that.
No, that makes sense.
So, I just don't have to do like, oh, okay, here, ma'am, here's your medication here. And I'm not a person that strongly wants to always take medication. I believe in conventional medication, but it's just so much with these medications. It's just too confusing for me, and I don't like to personally take a lot of medication. Mm-hmm. So how can I push it on somebody else? Mm-hmm. So that's why I said physical therapy is a one for me. Regarding Henry, just my whole feelings about medication and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then my mother also had back surgery when I think I was in high school. And I helped her. I didn't help her necessarily rehab, but I took care of her. I made sure she was in certain positions. She could only turn certain positions when she's walking downstairs. I took what the doctor said that she could and could not do, and I made sure she stuck to it. So.
And then, just for the listeners out there, can you explain what physical therapy is?
Goodness. Physical therapy, this is a long answer. The short answer is physical therapy is mobility, getting back to some type of mobility. And it could be a modified way because it depends on, if you have amputations or it could be anything. Excuse me, loss of balance. It's pretty much movement in any way possible, modified or just normal. Walking, or it can even be, using your arm strength in a wheelchair. It's just mobility. That's what physical therapy is, and physical therapy actually became very popular. It's been around for years, but in the 70s, it actually became an actual therapy. It became actually a group. Before it was done by like candy stripers, nurses. Okay. But it wasn't. It was a science behind it, but they really established it as a science in the 70s. Okay. And it was actually started by women. Oh. And nowadays you see more men. It depends on what setting you go into. It was started by women because the nurses were doing it, and so in the hospitals. So it started by women, and then it blew up from there.
So, and then just to give the audience just like a little perspective, how many years have you been doing this?
I graduated from all my schooling.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah. I'm old, but like I said, it took me a while to get there, to get to the actual degree of it. I graduated in 2006, and I established a job for it before, because you had to do all your clinicals. You did I think 4 quarters of clinicals, and they lasted anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks on each one. Okay. And then, so 2006, and then established my job, and then I failed my first licensure test.
That's okay.
I was a little nervous. I'm not a great test taker, but I prevailed. I took it again, and here I am.
Okay. And then, so by this time, you had gotten married, right?
Yes, I was married in 2004.
Okay. And then when did you have Gio?
I had Gio in 2010.
So it was like a few years after you had graduated.
Yes, because I wanted to just really focus on, enjoying life, establishing my financial background and everything, getting everything together. Mm-hmm. That whole, I know that's not what this part is about, but that whole thing about having kids, I just want to be as prepared as possible. Yeah. For us to have kids. So we waited a while.
Well, what I was going to ask though is so when you had your first kid, how did that impact your career?
It impacted it, but I think I'm a person who likes not chaos, but I like the busyness. I like the challenge of trying to have both worlds at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it impacted, but my focus, I was focused on my career. But when my child came, I had to find my child came first, no matter what. But I do truly enjoy what I do for a living. Mm-hmm. I love I love meeting different people. I love the stories, and everybody has a different story. And it's just amazing, the stuff and the stuff I've heard, the people I've met, the tremendous stories from somebody who's almost dead and who's walking away from me going home.
Yeah.
So, you think that you have to choose between family and career.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy is so flexible.
Mm.
Well, you don't have to choose. You can have a full family. You could work full time and still have a full family life. And my son is 6. He'll be 7 next month. And I had a daughter too. It gets chaotic, but I have a great partner. My husband is great. He helps a lot. And I think that's why I can do it all. I can do it all. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't had any nervous breakdowns. And my husband had to help me out with that and, get me back into to line. But it takes some doing, and it is hard. I'm not saying it's not hard at all. But I have found that equal balance for family life. And then when I get overwhelmed, and like I said, therapy is so flexible. If I need some time to myself, I can stand back and say, all right, let me focus on this for a little while with my family. And work is always going to be there. Right. If anybody's looking for a career, physical therapy is very competitive right now, but it is a very great field to get into.
And then what are some of the things you do to just try to find that balance, though?
So, me personally, I work as what we call PRN or registry. I have my own contract or my own business where I'll contract myself out to different home health companies. When you get into the therapy world, there's so much intertwining on what you can do. I know that's a whole podcast itself, but. So I'll call different companies and say, do you need me? Can you use me? I always have to do the new hire paperwork but I work in this, like I said, is another podcast, but I work in home health. That's where I have my own business at. As a contractor. I work in skilled nursing facilities, or they call them SNFs. I work in rehab hospitals. I have done some help outpatient. So I only want to work Monday through Fridays. And during the school year, I'll set myself up for maybe 6 hours. My husband works full time. I am responsible to get the kids out and going in the morning. And he usually can pick them up in the afternoon, but I can't make that schedule where I work past the time of picking up the kids because he might not be off. So I have to focus that. Yeah. So, but to make it... The question was how do I do the balance? It's communication, I think. It's really communication between my husband and I. And he, like I said, he takes a lot of weight off of me, even though I say, I need to do this and do this because, I'm very particular. I like things done a certain way. I like to cook. And he says, and it takes time. And he says, well, I'll cook, but then I'll stand over him saying, well, you're doing this wrong, so I might as well just cook, instead of frustrating him. So if I am doing cooking, he always asks me, what do you need me to do? And that does help. It takes so much pressure off. So I've listened to your podcast on how to get everything you want to get in. And I do. I really do. If I don't get it done, if I don't get it in, I don't stress about it anymore. Yeah. So, and I'll just say, okay, I didn't get it today, so I'll get it tomorrow or whatever day I fit it in for. So and then I always say, my husband, he is my partner in crime and everything. So, he likes to go to the gym. And I want to go to the gym, but some of my frustrations is, I can't go to the gym because I got to do this, to this, to this, to this. So he was like, they have childcare there. Let's both take the kids, put them in childcare, and let's work out together. That helps so much. So much.
It's like simple solutions, right?
Exactly. And I'm like, why can't I think of that? So, yes, I get everything in. I'm going to be 40 this year. And my goal is, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. Okay, really? I'm not 40. I'm not 40. I'm going to do it. And I'm all right with that. I'm just happy. I'm literally happy.
That's good. Well, there was like a couple things that I really wanted. So first, just to give you guys some background too, I should have probably started off with this. I've known Paulette since high school. A long, long time. So like 20 years. It's kind of crazy. And she is like a really hard worker, like one of the hardest working people I know. Like no matter what job. I remember when years ago, she like started off in Starbucks as like at the cash register, and then she ended up being the supervisor in less than like 6 months.
I was a barista.
Yeah, I was like, how are you a supervisor already? But I mean, I think that just kind of goes to show like how hardworking you are and trustworthy and dependable. So, we've talked in the past about, you making room for your passions, like things that maybe are unrelated to physical therapy that you would like to do or learn. Have you found the time to like dedicate to those things, like making room just for you? Like where you're not taking care of your family, you're not taking care of patients, but you're taking care of Paulette.
I'm figuring it out now.
Okay.
I'm getting there because I'm so goal oriented. Like my husband tries to tell me to do things, but to make me happy. Right now, taking care of my family is making me happy.
Right.
So that's what I want to do. That's the time for myself, is making sure my my family is happy. Now, would I like to read more? I'm trying to involve that more. So my husband loves to watch TV. The kids love to watch TV. So usually when they're all on the couch watching TV, I'm like in the kitchen cleaning or just like do. But I'm happy. I'm not upset that I'm not on the couch and watching TV. So this year or next year,
this year,
I would just like to read a book. But make time to read a book.
Yeah, because like I feel like while they're watching TV, maybe instead of like cleaning, you could be like, you know what, this cleaning could wait until later. Let me just lock myself in a room and give myself 20 minutes to read.
And it sounds so simple. But then when you're sitting going upstairs with the book, you're like, oh, I can get this done, I can get this done. Oh, so this one, I have to do this later on. So yes, I just really would like to read. And I'm going to incorporate that this year. Because Nache told me to.
Thank you. And there's like little things you could do. Like you can invest in audiobooks and listen to it in the car.
I do have an audiobook.
While you're cleaning.
Yes. No, the thing when I'm in the car, because I can't stand traffic, and my mind is always going, and that's why I get myself in trouble. So I'm either talking to somebody on the phone, not in my hand. I have a Bluetooth. It just passes the time away because my mind goes crazy and I come up with all these different... That stresses me out more when I have... Podcasts can sometimes make me go somewhere else.
Because your mind is thinking about what you're listening to, so you start to drift?
Yeah, I start to drift. So, but I need to try it again. Maybe I was doing that when I was younger. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again.
I like books on tape, yeah.
I don't know.
It's the audio, like audible.com is really popular now.
Oh, see, you're doing these apps again, okay?
I'm working on her.
For everybody out there, I am not a savvy, what do they call it, technology person. I am in healthcare, but physical therapy, there are a lot of high technology stuff, but I don't, I will use it, but not as
old
much.
School.
Yes, I am. I am.
Well, I want to get back to physical therapy, too, because we talked about this, like, when I first started the podcast, I had asked Paulette, and I'm like, what are some of the topics that you would want to cover? And one of the things that you had mentioned about physical therapy is that there's, like, a lot of assumptions about the person and how they should be, like, they should almost be, and tell me if I'm phrasing what you said wrong, but it was like they almost should be like a little bodybuilder or like super fit in order to be a physical therapist.
Yes. No, there's two sides to this story. So I'm a bigger person, and depending on what setting I'm in physical therapy, you get more of the physical therapists and outpatient, more of the fit people, because those are physical therapists usually the more mobile people. Like it could be athletic, it could be any outpatient. You could pretty much get anything, and usually it's the more fit people because you're not. They just look and I might be wrong. I don't know if anybody else out there has had this situation. If you're a physical therapist or occupational therapist, a therapist, period. It seems like an outpatient, they're like, oh, well, maybe, you're kind of a big person. Wow, like, can you do what I'm doing? You're telling me to do stuff. Can you do it too? I'm like, yes, I can do it tue. I don't ask any, and from a young age, people have asked me that, and everything I tell people to do, I make sure I can do it myself because I'm sure I'll get that one person, which I have, who wants to see it done, and I have to do it.
Right.
So yeah, I've had that stigma of, well, yeah, wow, you're kind of big to be a physical therapist, and they ask me like, do you suffer from this, and this, and this, anything with weight. No, I haven't. I have no problem. They were, really? You're not diabetic or anything? No. So, wow. It's like I had to go through the interview. And, I take it with a grain of salt. People, I'm not ill-willed towards people. I'll answer their questions. And maybe they'll learn something from what I said. I mean, maybe they might not judge as much, from what I said. So, I have gotten that. I'm more accepted in the skilled nursing facilities and the hospitals because usually sometimes those people are more weak or more frail or more sickly. So they like a big person. They feel more secure with a big person with them because they're like, well, this person's not going to drop me because they can lift me up and throw me over their shoulder.
Right.
So it is so weird in the different settings of how people's reactions. So I could be in a skilled nursing facility and I can have a nice, well-built guy, but skinnier and a little bit shorter because I'm 6 foot. And the person might not progress as much because they just don't feel confident with that person. I can come out of blue and I could just be standing in a room doing therapy with somebody else. Well, can she come over and help me stand? Or, or I'll see the therapist struggling with them. I say, oh, can I come and help? And the patient, stands right up. It's really some people are scared of falling or scared of somebody's going to let them fall. Therapists have.
Yeah.
So I'm like a security.
Your stature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I usually give calmness to people. So that's how, there's a stigma to bigger people. And there's bigger therapists out there. But the skilled nursing facilities and the hospitals are a little bit easier. They feel a little bit more comfortable with my stature. And I'm not saying that every outpatient I've had this situation come up, but outpatient I had it more. And I've had it in a skilled nursing facility too. Yeah. But I've had it more in outpatient than in skilled nursing or hospitals.
Well, I'm curious because I really wasn't going to go this way with the podcast, but why not? Because I feel like ever since high school, like for you, you've always been confident with your size. You know what I'm saying? And so what is it? And it's interesting because the tall society kind of goes into this too. Like really, it's like promoting good self-esteem for not only tall women, but then also plus size women too. Like the Bree who I've had on the podcast before really promotes that because she's also plus size. So her whole campaign I really think is about kind of loving yourself. And so my question to you is like, how have you always kind of kept that confidence, even though when we were younger, and I'm sure you kind of struggle with some things, and how is it like to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like in America, because I feel like everybody is so judgy. Like even as like a tall person, there's like weird things sometimes, like how people react to you, or they'll say something, or you're always just big, and I'm like, okay, I'm 6'1", but you don't have to refer to me.
Right.
Oh, you're a big girl.
Right.
You're a big girl there.
I get both ways too. I get, hey, you're big, or you're tall. Big, wow, you're almost hitting the door frame. I'm like, yeah.
So how do you keep that self-confidence? Because I feel like when it comes to women and them doing what they want to do, be it pursuing their passions or being confident in the workplace, like sometimes how we look plays into it. And so how do you not let that affect you?
I've never been a person who really cared what people said.
Yeah.
I mean, how do I stay? I guess it's for, my family and my parents, my father, my whole family. We're just big. We're tall. We're big people. Mm-hmm. We used to, what they call signifying. We used to signify and talk about each other so much. You don't have a problem with people saying it, just rise off of me. And, yes, I'm big, but I love me. I love me. I have a husband that loves me. I have a family that loves me. Mm-hmm. I don't have ailments to go with my weight. I think if I had ailments, I might be a little bit, but I have nothing. There's nothing. I eat pretty healthy. I work out. Trust me, the doctors have done every test in the world to see if my thyroid is off. And I'm turning 40 this year, and and I've had priests like, Paulette, I wish you'd lose this weight. You're carrying all this weight on you, and I'm just happy. I'm happy. I'm mobile. Anything I want to do, I can do it. Yeah. So it doesn't bother me. I don't know. Yeah. Only time it bothers me is when, I don't know, when I was doing home health, and these people, they're smaller people, mm-hmm. and they have furniture that's on the ground. Or I had one lady tell me, I was doing home health. She's like, I just need you to stand because you're probably going to break my chair. So you just need to stand. Wow. That's fine. I'm in her place. I'll respect that. Yeah. And that's fine. But
still, it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's all right. I'm still making money off of you. So whatever you want to tell me. I'm here for you right now. So however you want to use your therapy session, you want me to stand and do your therapy, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Yeah. So I'm just confident in myself. I don't care what people say. Yeah. Because people say things all the time, and I can't read into it. I love me.
I think that's a good lesson learned for you guys out there, because I feel like I'm the same way, and I don't know if it's because if it's a Chicago thing. Not to say there aren't any people with low self-esteem in Chicago, but I feel like growing up, especially I grew up with majority boys, all the Rucker boys.
Oh, yeah. They're rough and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
So they always talked about you, right? I feel like in Chicago, growing up, you were just always getting joned on. And so you had to learn to kind of deal with somebody making jokes about every one of your flaws. If you have acne, they were going to get on your acne. Your hair, your weight, your height, if you're too short, too tall, whatever.
Got floating eye or something. They all...
I know. It was just you weren't going to survive. Nope. You just didn't learn how to roll with it.
Exactly.
And then I think a lot of us ended up taking that into adulthood. Mm-hmm. So it's yep. Whatever people say about you, you just say, okay.
Right.
Not all of us, because I know some people who really let that impact them and who they are and what they want to do. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. I joke about my weight. I joke about my weight all the time too. I don't know. I always tell my husband, he was he'll say something like, oh, hey, I'm tired. I said, you call me fat? You call me lazy and fat? And he'd be like, oh, God, dude. But you gotta laugh about it. Yes, I'm fat, but it doesn't stop me from doing anything. Yeah. I can do anything I want to do.
Yeah.
So.
And she means this, folks. When I tell you she is one of the hardest people I know, she is. It's kind of crazy. People, when I used to have 2-3 jobs, I'm half Jamaican, so they'd be like, she a Jamaican?
Right, so that's
she's a Jamaican.
I don't think I have any blood in me, but
She doesn't have it, but she's got that work ethic.
I know. So obviously I surround myself with people like me that are hardworking. So yes, gotta be.
So let me ask you this, because we've had some conversations around this too. So let me know if you mind sharing it, and if not, I could cut this part out completely. But what's next? Like, so you've kind of found like your thing, which is physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
From a young age, you knew you wanted to do it. You're kind of in it. You're working in different places in the space of physical therapy. Like, what do the next like 5 years look like for you?
My next 5 years, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
To get rid of my debt.
Let's talk about debt. Yes. But no, I mean, you know, I'm a big person that's like really into like getting rid of debt, because it's like this weight on you, right? Like you feel like you can't do anything.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So you were actually one of my biggest inspirers, and even when you were younger, you're like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'd be like, oh, we young, we'll be all right. And now I see what you have accomplished. I'm like, man, I want to be there. I mean, I got everything else I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want that. I want to be debt free.
So, what are you doing?
So Todd is my husband. Mm-hmm. We have made a plan. So we have 2 kids. They're in a very expensive daycare, and that's a whole nother subject. Husband life and wife life, that's another podcast too. So the daycare, and even though my son's in 1st grade, he's in a public school right now. My husband wants private schools for high school. He wanted private school for grammar school because he feels that I grew up, and he sees like you, me, some of our other friends, I don't know if they want me to mention their names on there, have gone through private schools and have had a great life, and you know, just knew the right things to make, right decisions to make. So when we had our first son, we had all this discussion. We live in an actually good school district. So anyway, childcare in the suburbans of Chicago. Maybe Chicago is like this too. But now, you know, the schools want them to be preschooled, and it's just so much. So anyway, put them in this expensive daycare. Well, I was financially prepared with Geo for things. And then we could still live the way we were living. And then we had another one. And all my debt came to it. I mean, I had debt before, but I had taken a loan out to take it away. And I would have been be done paying it off by December of next year. Well, when the second child came around, everything just went to So, what we're doing now, we're going on a budget. So I said I want to travel more. I want to make sure we do our family travels every year, more than one, and we're getting that budget together. So my daughter she'll be out of daycare by next August. And daycare fees are about $1,200 a month. That's a loan for one child. If you got 2, you can pay $2,400 a month. So, I mean, I can't get it. Well, the government took away the assistance, but I wouldn't be able to get the assistance anyway. But so that alone for childcare is a big chunk. And then I got to feed the family, got the mortgage, you got we only have 1 car note now, and we only get 1 car note if we need to. Every 5 years, if we need to. So what we're doing is we got the strict budget. My niece is giving me spreadsheets of where all my money goes, so I can keep my budget. And then we're doing the balloon effect, where you pay off all your small debts first, and then go all the way and just. So we literally just started that about 2 months ago. I have been able to save $600 in 2 months, where before I couldn't save a penny. I was using credit cards to pass their limits. To pass their limits. Yeah. And now we're paying off the debt. It seems like I'm not making a big dent in it, but I'm seeing something.
Yeah, it just takes time.
And it's just, oh my God, the stress is slowly coming off.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You
only
can
been
see
2
the
months.
light.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing the balloon effect. So we got the budget. I'm also doing a lot of like selling things on different websites.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to try to move in the next 2 or 3 years also, because my kids share one room. It's a boy and a girl. So we want to give my daughter and son a separate room.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some other things that might happen. So we just need a bigger house. So I'm selling things off so that can give me money. And I refuse to have PMI. I don't know if you guys have it down here.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to have PMI on my next house because
Mm-hmm.
it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
So I want that 20% up also.
Yeah.
So we're saving. I'm trying to save a lot of money and just doing a balloon effect. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I couldn't do this in my 20s or my 30s.
I feel like it's about it's that money mindset. I mean, because I feel like there were periods where I was like really smart, and then there was periods that I was stupid, and then I got smart again. And then it's like once I said like, no, I have this goal in mind, and I really want to change the way I spend money, and I want to be debt free. It was like I was like a machine, and everything I did was to get that debt off of me. Yes. And now I'm like, I never want it again. And, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. and so now, like, I'm very smart. Like, I use my credit card all the time because I just trust credit cards versus the debit, because you can get your money back if it's stolen or whatever. But I pay my credit card off every month.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I be like,
but
it's
but I mean, I had to get my mind right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, oh, I'll just get this and I'll get that. And you don't even think about how all those like little things will add up, you know?
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I'm just going to put $100 on my credit card or $200 here. And it feels like really small little things. And then before you know it, you're like, oh my God, I'm $5,000 in debt.
Exactly.
I'm $6,000 in debt.
Exactly.
Like,
and
right.
what do I have to show for it?
Nothing.
Exactly. That's
nothing.
Yeah. And
so I'm glad you guys are doing that.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully the next podcast probably be 10 years later. I'll be debt free, or 5 years later.
Yeah. I mean, and I know like for you, your situation's a little different too, because I feel like when children are involved, that's a whole other expense. You know, you hear stories about people spending like $20,000 to $60,000 a year on school, food, vacations. I mean, health, you know, doctor's bills. Yep. I mean, so it's like when you have all that, I could see how you could feel like you're drowning, because as soon as you save like $600 or $1,000, something could happen, and then all of a sudden you're like, I got to give this money to the doctor. I've got to give it to the school. I've got to whatever. Yep. Yeah,
and that's true. That is, I always say I am a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, but my millions walk with two feet, and they eat the money. But they're millionaire. Where I'm a millionaire, but yes. So there is a way. People just have to learn, and I'm learning this. Like if I see something, I want it. No, step back and say, do I really need it?
Yeah.
And my husband tells me this all the time. I'm not a materialistic person. I just enjoy the fact of making other people that instant gratification, making other people happy. Yeah. So I don't usually buy a lot of stuff for myself. I'll buy it for other people.
That's the worst. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I'm gonna tell you guys this now. Your mama, your daddies, your whoever come to you asking for your money, say no. Because what I find is a lot of people want to always support their family, which I'm not saying I get it, right? But if you are always giving, then you'll never have anything.
Exactly.
So just remember that, because if you think about it, if you take the time to say no and save that money or like pay off debt, like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, maybe if they really need something, you'll be able to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
And it won't hurt you. You could be like, you know what? Here's $300 to help you with X. You don't even have to worry about paying me back, because then now you're in this good place, right?
Right, exactly.
But you got to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I've had to borrow money from people. My mother's one of them. Thank you.
Thanks,
God's
Mom.
work. Thank you. Pay you $100 back next week. And it is so hard for me to ask people for money, but they know I'm going to give it back.
Oh yeah, and this is kind of goes back to her like just her personality, work ethic. She doesn't want to like owe anybody anything. It's like she's like one of those people.
No, and I used to have a thing, you know, if you need money, if you ask for it, I'm gonna give it to you because that's what, you know, I worry about karma. I'm all about karma. So if I give something, it's gonna come back to me, and not maybe right away. It might be years later, but damn, I'm tired of waiting for. So, but I mean, I'm not gonna be. I'm a person that always thinks about karma. Yeah. But for some people, I'm not gonna give. If I know you're not gonna pay that money back, and it's hard with family, I usually don't give money because I know
that's like so complicated.
And you told me that though. You told me like friends and you do not give money to.
Don't do it, people.
Don't do it. Because you're going to either break up your family or break up your friendship. Because when they don't pay that money back, you're going to be upset.
So upset. It's like my whole thing is like, if you're going to give them money, you have to mentally be prepared to not get it back.
Exactly.
And if you're not, do not give them money.
You are absolutely right. You were absolutely right.
I never forget
when you told me that. I was like,
that's been my philosophy for years.
Yes, it has. Cause we like, dang, the shit got. Can we get some money? No.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm like, damn, why is she so hard? But I understand. I understand why you did that, and it is a very good point because I've been burned several times, and I've lost some friendships. Over money. So because
if you give them your last dime and you're like, they said they're gonna pay me back on Monday, and they know I need to pay my rent, and they never give it to you, now they're messing up your life. Now you're gonna be upset. It just
exactly.
Yeah. Don't give money you can't afford to lose.
Exactly. So I've learned that. Thank you again. It's just taken me 39 years. So yeah, we know each other for 20-something years. You were saying that when we were in high school. Wow. Woo, God, this is sad. Oh God. Please, people, don't be like me. It take 20-something years to learn a lesson that somebody has said and who's debt free in high school. Sorry. Okay. Reality check. Oh God.
Oh my God, that's so funny. All right. But no, I think that's a good goal to have, you know? And it's kind of doing what you got to do. You're doing like physical therapy. You're happily married. You have 2 beautiful kids. You're kind of living. You do. I know. We should get them on camera.
They look crazy right now.
But yeah. So now let's just wrap up here because I think we're kind of at the 40-minute mark.
Oh my God.
I know.
I didn't think it was gonna last that long. I'll tell you the truth. Okay.
And I always ask people 2 questions. The first question is, have you found your passion? If so, what is it? And if not, what are you doing to discover it?
Well, the answer is I've already found my passion. Mm-hmm. I love my life. There's nothing else. I love it. I have the great husband, great kids, great support from my immediate family and friends, and a great job that I meet wonderful people all the time. It's challenging at times, but I love it. Love it. I have no problem waking up in the morning and going to work. Yeah. Because I love what I do and I'm taking care of my kids and I love it. So.
No, that's perfect. And what is one thing you can't live without? It could be anything.
I'm going to say this. But if he dies tomorrow, I'm going to be upset. My husband. I can't live without my husband.
You would not.
I cannot live without my husband. He's such a great support. I mean, he's everything to me. I couldn't be where I'm at or what I'm doing or positive or without him.
This is great. Another story for another podcast, but I remember when she called me when she met him.
Oh, God. Woo! That's a whole story. God.
But no, we won't go there.
No,
we won't.
No.
But anyway, thank you for being on the podcast.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was actually very fun. I was nervous about it, but okay.
All right. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you take nothing else from that episode, take away that you do not have to have everything to be happy. Like, even in the end, she's still working towards financial freedom, but that doesn't stop her from being happy, loving her family, loving her career, taking vacations, doing what she has to do, right? She's not letting that, bring her down. She's staying focused, but still remaining happy. So just remember that you don't have to have it all to be happy. You just have to surround yourself with love and do things that you like, have a career that you like. And even if you don't have a career that you like, it doesn't mean you can't be happy. Okay. You find ways to bring happiness into your life, bring that joy into your life. Okay, so I'll get off that tangent. But anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode and her journey. I think it really just goes to show too that no two paths are the same. Everyone's path isn't easy. There might be some bumps in the road, but you know what? A little bit of perseverance and a little bit of hard work, and you can get to where you need to be. So anyway, not sure where you're listening from, but know that the live interview is on YouTube. So if you go to nachesnow.com/YouTube, you can watch us over there. And if you haven't already, please rate the podcast 5 stars. It really helps it out. And you can go to nachesnow.com/iTunes and it'll bring it right up for you. So please do that for me. If you're on Android, nachesnow.com/Stitcher. You can rate me over there. And if you guys just see my stuff anywhere and you guys share it or tag other people that you think would benefit from any of the episodes that I'm posting, that really, really, really helps too. All right. So thanks again for tuning in for another week of the Studio 78 podcast. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the podcast and to the newsletter. Go over to nachesnow.com for the newsletter. And that's nachesnow.com/newsletter. Okay. I'm out. You guys have an amazing week. All right. Take care. Bye. All right, so here are her beautiful babies. Say, hey, babies.
Hi.